Welcome to the Junk Drawer Mamas with your hosts Deena Tricino and Christina Queen. We are so glad you're here with us as we sort through the drama and the trauma of life's hidden struggles to uncover hope and healing with a side of humor on this roller coaster ride we like to call extreme parenting. Whether you're raising a child or a teen with special needs, dealing with challenging behaviors, tackling addiction, mental health issues, or working through the trauma associated with foster care, it's a lot, and we get it. But you don't have to do this alone. So grab a cozy chair, settle in, and let's take this journey together.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Junk Drawer Mamas podcast. I'm here with my co-host Christina. And I'm Deena, and we are here digging into our junk drawer again. Today's episode is all going to be about how do we get ourselves prepared when our kids are going to be home for the summer.
Yes.
So we talk about special needs parenting, extreme parenting. So this particular episode isn't necessarily just for special needs moms or moms dealing with an extreme parenting situation. I think every mom dreads that my kids are going to be home for the summer. What do I do? How do I keep them entertained? Our behavior issues higher in the summer because they're home. There's not a structure. I know my daughter definitely does much better with a structure than more of a free for all. So we can talk about that. How do we manage that? How do we enjoy our kids versus feeling like I can't wait for them to go back to school? Right. By the end of the summer, you're burnt out, frustrated, and all of that. So we're going to just kind of dig into that because I feel like even though this isn't necessarily an extreme situation, if it's not managed,
it can be.
It can be. And it can still be shoved into that drawer like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk about it. Maybe you find yourself yelling more because kids are around you more. You know, like my daughter's homeschooled, so I don't actually have a season shift. But what is different for me is that she wants to be outside all the time. We have a pool. She wants to be in the pool all the time. And now that I'm working a lot, creating content and writing and all of that, I can't spend every moment outside with her in the pool like I used to be able to do. So her demands for my time and attention are more because she's still not able to be out there by herself. Although she's 14, she has special needs. So I can't leave her unattended. I can let her swim by herself because she's been swimming since she was a baby, but I can't leave her without being able to at least check on her. I can't be up in my office and she's outside in the pool. So that means that disrupts my schedule. And if I'm not managing my emotions and my health and my spiritual time with God, then that could start to get annoying to me and I could start taking it out on her. And I know in the past I have yelled at her like, no, you can't go outside. No, I've got stuff to do. Instead of managing my time around it, knowing it's coming, getting my emotions and my spirit ready to deal with that. You know, I end up feeling like I'm already in this fight, flight, or freeze because I've got to spend my whole summer babysitting her. Where in the wintertime, she's kind of, in her room a lot.
Right. So, we've been doing this forever, kids in school and all this, seems like forever.
Now, to our viewers, you have some in school and some homeschool, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Right now we've got 2 that are homeschooled and 5 in school. No, 4 in school right
like foster
now.
kids have to go to a
so we've
public
got
school,
6.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, they have to go to, they can't be homeschooled.
Okay.
So we've actually got 2 in pre-K and then 4 in school. So I used to be one of those moms, though, up until recently. I was one of those moms that I did not understand the parents that were like, oh gosh, the kids are going to be home from summer, because I loved it. I loved the summer. I loved my kids being home with me. I was excited that there was no school. We had no schedule. We could do what we wanted to do. And
You're one of those rare moms.
Right. I just didn't have any stress around it. I liked my kids being home and I just really enjoyed that. But more recently, with some kids that have, some more challenging behavior, I have already started, we're not even there yet to school ending and we're still weeks away from that. And I've already started thinking of almost a dread around that of like, oh gosh, no, they're going to all the time. I've got to try to figure out something for them to do all summer.
Yeah.
Every day I've got to keep them busy. And we've got to be very careful with that because I started kind of running check on myself. We shouldn't have that outlook on it. We shouldn't be dreading it. But at the same time, I can understand it because I felt that. So, I was thinking of things to entertain them, to keep them busy, things to do with them. And if we can get ourselves, and again, I'm not fully there yet. I feel like God's working this out in me. If we can get our heads wrapped around the fact that it's a joy to parent these kids, regardless of their behavior.
I think we forget that a lot.
We do.
We really do forget that it is an honor and a joy that he chose us to raise these kids.
Especially for me right now, just the season that we're in with the kids, you know, my situation a little bit, Deena, with, you know, some of what we prayed for and with some of the kids that we have right now, you know, if we're not careful, we'll let the devil steal that from us, steal the joy that is in parenting. It goes by so fast. We don't have these kids for forever. They become adults. They move out. They have kids of their own. And we forget that because we get so caught up in the stress of life and the stress of behaviors and the stress of all of it, just the whole thing, that we're just like, oh gosh, another summer. And we start, if we're not careful, we'll create this sense of dread around it that does not even need to be there. Instead of just saying, okay, God, help me. You know how I'm feeling. You know, I'm feeling a little bit anxious about this. You know, help change my heart. Help turn my heart and posture it the right way so that my kids know that I am happy and grateful that they're home, that they don't feel like they're a burden to me because they're home. We don't want the kids to feel like we don't even want them here. Like, oh gosh, I can't wait till you go back to school. We don't want them to have that feeling. We don't want them to have that sense of, my parents don't want me here. They want me gone. They can't wait till. And honestly, I know some parents will tell them, I can't wait till you go back to school.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It's like we're speaking curses over them, you know.
Don't do that to them, because
we've all done
they're probably happy that they get to be home with us. Well, and most of them are happy that they get to be home with us. And they get to spend more time, you know, whether it's playing outside or just, you know, being with mom and dad. And we don't want them to feel like they're not special to us in the same way. So we need to be very careful of that. We need to be very mindful. And I'm speaking to myself a lot.
Really important there, because I was just sitting here thinking, what do people do that don't have a relationship with a God? Because you said you have to very intentionally ask God to change your heart. So if I wasn't partnering with God, who would I be asking to change my heart? Would I just try to grin and bear it? Would I be asking myself to change my heart? Because I know if I left it to myself, we are naturally selfish people. And I don't mean like in a mean way. I'm saying we naturally want what we want. We want our comfort. We want our agenda. We want our schedules. Our peace. And I see so much of the, you know, moms that are struggling through trying to find that peace.
Yeah.
And even Christian moms that are trying to find that peace, and they're just struggling through this whole mom journey. And I'll tell you what, it goes by fast. You can attest to this because you've got adult children.
Yes.
So I have 3 stepchildren, but when Doug and I first got married, they were 7, 8, and 11. Tina's now 38. Gracie is 14. She's our youngest. So my 2 biological children, Gracie and Tony, he's 25 now. 25 years went like that.
Oh, it
25 years with my other kids went like that. I mean, it was a blink of an eye. It goes by fast. And if we are just trying to grin and bear it
and survive
it, we are missing the beauty of what God called us to do. And ultimately, these are God's kids, not ours. We forget that. He called us to partner with him and raise his kids so that they will come back to him. We raise them so that they can learn who he is as their heavenly Father, as their Lord Jesus and Holy Spirit, to walk their life back to him. But if we are always stressed and burnt out and just grinning and bearing it, they're never going to see God out of that. First of all, they're not only going to want no part of it. They're not going to know how to handle stress themselves, because they're going to see mom or even dad handling life in a stressful way. I just did a video on my YouTube channel about this, that they see you. What do they see you? What do you want your kids to see? Do they want to see you doing hard things and rising above it and having strength? Or do you want them to see you struggling and striving and always stressed out? Yeah. Because they're going to see it regardless.
Yeah. And again, it's the word intentional, which is something that God's been teaching me a lot lately, is that we have got to be very intentional when we wake up in the morning. It might sound cheesy, Christianese, whatever, but this is a day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. We have got to turn our hearts and put them in the right posture.
Put that on my computer right in front of me. So I can see that every
because
day.
We forget that.
We
start off the morning, we're like, oh my gosh, I've got, and I'll grab my calendar. I've got this, and that appointment to do. I've got this. And if you're not careful, you're already pre-stressing over your day that has not even happened. You're already stressed out over this, and that, and what this might look like. I'm going to be in line forever. Oh, this appointment at this doctor always takes forever. When you're already stressed out over what hasn't even happened. And
so that's the
we
same thing
can,
with summer. We started talking.
yes.
It's already going to be tough. It's already going to be bad. They're all going to drive me nuts.
But what if it's what if we hand this summer purposely, intentionally, before it even starts, over to the Holy Spirit, partner with the Holy Spirit and start praying now.
That's a good challenge.
About,
we challenge all you listeners out there that are watching
and myself,
to turn the summer over to the Holy Spirit and
for
enjoy
sure
it.
myself. Yes, because I've already been thinking about this. I'm like, gosh, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get out and take 10 kids to the park.
Gracie's a park person, man. I cannot stand going to the park, but she loves it, and I do it with her. But she always wants to go to the park. Every day she wants to go to the park. It's like,
we live close to a really, really nice park. And I was just talking to my 12-year-old today. I'm like, oh, we're going to have to start going to the park. And then I start thinking of the logistics of that, of getting an infant, not even a 1-year-old yet, and a 2-year-old with the feeding tube, and 2 4-year-olds. And I just start thinking of the logistics of that. And it's already not fun anymore. I'm already like, I don't want to go to the park.
I don't want to go to the park.
I'm like,
I want to take a nap just listening to you.
Right. I'm like, okay, God, I've got to wrap my brain around this and stop getting in my own head and stop thinking of all the overwhelmed side of it before I can even get to the fun part of it.
Wow, that's so good. That's so
and
good.
So I think we definitely have got to be intentional. Like you said, if you're going on a walk, you already know Gracie is going to get not very far before she's going to want to sit down and
she wants to sit
stop.
down. You don't get any
So
exercise.
you already know. So you're already stressed out over the walk that hasn't even happened because you're like, oh my gosh, I know what Gracie's going to do.
We don't even go because I'm like, I'm not dealing with this.
Right. So what if we're intentional and we start, Holy Spirit, give us some ideas that will make this better for her and me. Give me some ideas, give me some connections, maybe somebody that has a chair that would be great to push her around in when she starts getting tired. What if we start purposely and intentionally looking for ways to have a lot of joy this summer and not just stress, not just dragging through the summer and being like, oh, thank God that's over, the kids are back in school.
Yeah.
Or, what if we see this differently? What if we really try this summer to get the most out of it and make it a summer full of memories for the kids, a summer full of joy for us and not just stress. And I'm not saying there'll be no stress. Right. Because I'm not saying there's not going to be any stress. We all know better than that.
This will be interesting because my life is very busy. It hasn't been this busy in many, many years from when I was running our youth outreach. But here's something that you just said that I was convicted by. So I'm going to bare my junk drawer right now. There are things that Gracie absolutely loves to do. She's very good when we do it, but I don't want to put in the effort. So one of the things that she likes to do outside is play kickball, or what she likes to do, she calls it an obstacle course. Which is weird. She won't go for a walk without sitting down every 5 feet, but she'll run around my yard if I build an obstacle course. So we have like a little trampoline, we have little cones, a kickball, we can jump over something. So we do it's a lot of work to set it up. And she wants to do it every single day. And for a while, we did do that. We even set up in our basement in the winter. But I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's so much work. Because she might also only want to do it for 10 minutes and then we're done. I just set up the whole yard in this obstacle course. But it gets her out there. She's in the sunshine. We're getting exercise, even if it is only for a few minutes. But even throwing a ball, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go outside and throw the ball. And she wants me to throw the ball with her. My husband's working during the day, so he can't go out there and do that with her. And once in a while, he'll be able to stop and do that. But I'm convicted because I'm making it about me. So that's really where the spirit of pride comes in, too. It's about me, my comfort. I don't want to do it. Yeah. This is too hard. It's too much work. I don't want to stand out there with her. Me. Yes, but I can be doing things to enrich her life. So the challenge for me is seeing those opportunities that I know she likes and not complaining about it and just doing it. Right. So because when she wants to go in the pool, I'm all for that. I can sit out in the sun. That is my jam. Yeah. I love it. But all the other stuff, but even the pool, sometimes we could get all the way out there and she's done after 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, no, you're not. You're staying out here. I am not going back in the house. Yeah, right. It's like going to the beach. No, we are going to swim. Everything out there that you need. And no. Anyway, well, the challenge, I think, thank you for that. I really needed to hear that. The challenge for me in all of this, because I am taking this as a challenge since I said this, because I've really got to get this together. The challenge for me in all of this is just simply going to be to not be lazy. I wish we lived closer. We could do more stuff together.
I cannot get stuck in my own feelings and like, this is my problem. I'll say, oh, let's go to the zoo tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and I'm like, I don't want to go to the zoo. Let me make something up. So I don't
work with 10 kids,
let me make something up so I don't have to take the kids to the zoo. Or I'm not, okay, this is burying my junk drawer. I have not, I have gone so low as to bribe my kids. Like, well, it's going to be extra hot today, or it's going to be this. And what if we just like go get ice cream? Or what if we just, and I have literally bribed my kids.
With ice cream.
Not just once, but multiple times.
Zoo?
Yes. Like, what if we just do this? What if we just, yeah.
What if I get you a treat? How about we do that? We don't need to
honestly,
do the
just because I don't feel like doing it. Right. I'm like, it sounded like a great idea yesterday, but not today.
Exercise and giving her ice cream, but I didn't do the hard thing.
Right. And instead of being a person of integrity and doing what we said and what we told our kids we would do, we weasel our way out of it. Yeah. And, the kids are so forgiving. They honestly are. Our kids are so forgiving.
Yeah.
Most of them. Some of them remind me of this stuff, but some of my kids will throw this in my face still, but most of them are very forgiving though. Yeah. I've got a few that's not as forgiving, but I mean, honestly, one of my kids would be like, well, just because mom said she did it. And that's tough. That's hard. And you don't want your kids to look at you like that. At least I don't want my kids to look at me like that. I want my kids to look at me and say, mom said she was going to do it. So she's going to do it. Mm-hmm. And I have not always been that person. So I am challenging myself this summer. Ooh, this is scary, Deena. We're doing it right in front of everybody. I am challenging myself this summer to create a fun-filled summer for the kids and not just laying around or being lazy.
You know those little rubber bands that she had last time that she would snap, and you still have those on? Oh my gosh. I still have those. You need to snap those every single time. You're like, no, let's just go get ice cream instead of going to the park. Snap,
or let my kids do it.
Yeah.
Like, I know some of them would stretch that thing across the room and get me real good. And then other ones would be so sweet, like, no, mom, I don't want to hurt you.
Yeah.
Some of them are sweet like that. And other ones are like,
not my kids. They would snap me in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So some of my kids would be like, oh, we get to get
snap
mom.
Me in a heartbeat.
Yep. I think that's the truth. Most of the boys would be like, ha, ha, ha.
Boys are those wet towel snapping boys like my husband.
Yep.
Gracie
my girls would be like, mom, I don't want to hurt you. Yep. I think that's most of my girls too. Yeah. They'd be like, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, it is something that, I've been thinking a lot about, because I was just thinking about this morning during my prayer time of like, oh gosh, summer's coming up. I'm going to have these kids all day, every day. And I was already starting to get that feeling of dread. And come on, that's a lie. That's from the enemy. Why can't we enjoy our summer? There's no reason why we can't have fun with our kids. Yeah, it might be work. It might be a little bit more exercise than what we're used to. Come on, we all need this.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. This is something that we could all use. And it reminds me of the Joyce Meyer, what about me? What about me? What about me? What about our kids?
Yeah.
What about what they need?
Yeah.
I think
a lot of times we forget that they are, they're not where we're
they're
at.
People
We've
too.
Experienced that. They haven't. So we do need to allow them to experience things, even if it means that we don't want to do it.
Right. And, I've been very convicted of my grown daughter. We have 4 grandbabies and she's not quite 30 yet. And our oldest granddaughter's 9 and our youngest grandbaby is 2. Every year we'd vacation together. And it's only been the last couple of years that we haven't. And she had said it to one of my grandbabies and they repeated it back to me. Mom never wants to do anything fun with the kids. She just wants to kind of hang out and she doesn't want to go around and see stuff and do stuff. And I'm over here like, that's because I've already done it 10,000 times. I don't want to do it anymore. But yet on the other end of that, that's
their first time though.
That's not fair to the kids we're raising now. So I've got to get out of what I'm feeling and not being about me and letting these kids enjoy themselves and have fun. And I will say that there is a lot less bad behavior when the kids get out and run and play and do stuff and get worn out and be kids and play and have fun. There's a lot less behaviors that I'm dealing with when they get to do that than when they're cooped up and everybody's nitpicking and fighting and arguing because they're tired of being crammed together in a space. They want to be out. They want to run. They want to play. And I think honestly, that's the way God created us, right? Is to be out in nature and in his creation and enjoy it instead of dreading it all.
Yeah.
All
think
year.
About how many times we will sit and watch TV and, I don't know if you guys are big TV watchers. Our TV isn't usually on all day. Now, Gracie will watch her shows on her TV, but we'll turn the TV on in the evening. But we still are sitting there doing that. So the activity doesn't necessarily have to be during the day. So I want to speak to the moms that work during the day, or a single mom, because there might be somebody who's
a medically
watching.
fragile child.
Right. So I want to speak to those moms that might be listening, thinking, yeah, that's good for you. You guys are stay-at-home moms. I got to work every day. And my kids are going to be home for the summer, and now I've got to figure out childcare. So now they're stressed out for that. So this is going to be about quality time, not quantity of time. So even unless you're working 7 days a week and your child is in daycare, even that's an extreme situation. If you're a single mom, we will be praying for you. That's a tough situation. But if you're not working 7 days a week, then on the weekends, do what we're saying. Make it a challenge. Now, I get you're probably very tired by the end of the day. So whether you're a working mom and you come home and you don't want to do this at night because you're tired all day, or whether you can only have time with your kids on the weekend, it's the same thing with a mom that's dealing with a lot of kids, or a kid that has a lot of extreme behaviors like Gracie. I'm tired by the end of the day. I don't want to go to the park. I don't want to do anything after work either. Same. But we do have to remember that those kids need that. They need that enrichment. So even if you do work all the time, or even if, you have to, you're struggling right now thinking, what am I going to do for childcare? You're going to have to pray about that and partner with God, because he did not call you to raise these kids so that you could suffer through it, struggle through it financially, and try to figure it out on your own. If you are doing that, it's because you're probably not partnering with God. And I know that might be hard to hear, but you're trying to figure it out in your own strength. And we were never meant to walk this journey in our own strength. It only comes from surrender and really hearing and listening to God. And I know sometimes that's hard to swallow, because you say, I've done that. I was in that boat. So I'm only saying that because I was one of those people that, like, I am doing that. Yeah. Again, how dare you give me this unsolicited advice like we talked about on the last episode. Well, so I just want to make sure that we're mindful of those moms, that it can still be even small moments where you choose to find joy with your kids. It doesn't have to be every day, all day, running to the park because you have the time to do that.
And for the moms that are dealing with where they are working 5, 6, even 7 days a week, and they're coming home exhausted, and they're like, I'm sorry, I just can't get out in the front yard and run around with my kids. It can just be, sit on your porch, sit in a chair in the front yard, and just put down your phone and just watch them.
That's a really good one, because we do spend a lot of times on our phone.
Because the kids, how many times do our kids, or for me, even my grandkids, come up and like, watch. And I watch that. I watch that so often. If I go someplace, the kids are trying to get, the kids are just trying to get our attention. So even if you can't get up and run around the yard with them,
Grace
or you
will
can't
go,
get up and do what they're doing.
Mom. She points at her eyes. She'll go, focus. She does that with my husband a lot.
Yep.
She'll tell you right now,
just
get
want
off
your
that phone.
attention. They just want our attention, and they just want to know that we're paying attention to them. And that can be, like you said, it's, quality of time. It's you setting the phone down and just paying attention to them.
Or just turning the TV off that night instead of watching TV, which is very easy. You want to come home, put your feet up,
play a game with them.
Whatever you do, then one night a week, play a game with them, whatever that is. Because honestly,
whatever
kids are
works
excited for summer. They're getting out of school. It's like their vacation.
Right.
It's not a vacation for parents.
It's not a vacation for us.
No, it's tough. We need a vacation after summer. But kids are very excited about it. And if we're squelching that and making them stay inside because we don't want to go outside because we're too busy, then they're not growing up in the way that they need to be fully enriched, I would say. So, yes, we can do it even if it's a small amount of time. We can do it.
Yes.
No, I'm just saying that it is something that,
again, it's
we can all take the challenge, no matter how small of that challenge you might be able to do.
And the number one things are going to be intentional, and to the fruit of the Spirit. We're not going to be selfish. And I feel like doing this, we're going to pray about it when you get up in the morning. God, I don't really have a lot of energy today. I need energy to.
He can give you supernatural energy.
Right.
If you're asking for it,
praying for it,
seeking Him first, then all the things will be added onto it, which means if it's energy that you need to get through that day because you're going to go to the zoo with 10 kids, then supernaturally, God, give me the energy and the strength and help me to shut my mouth when I want to yell at them for the 100th time to, keep moving.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, a lot of prayer for me this summer, I'm sure, before each day.
Pray for Christina because she's got 10 kids.
I'm going to have to get up extra early and get extra prayer time in. Yes. And not get frustrated and aggravated. And that is the other thing about summer. If you live where most of us do, where it gets nice and hot during the summer, that adds so much to our agitation. Let's face it. When you get
My mom always said hot, tired, and hungry. That's the worst thing to be. If you're all of those, just get out of the way. So if you're hot, that's bad. If you're hungry, that's bad. If you're tired, hot, tired, and hungry is the worst.
Yes, you get more irritable. We were talking about, we did a trip to Disney years ago, and oh my gosh, everybody was so hot and everybody was getting so irritable, and it just was not fun because everybody was miserable. And so you got to purposely, whether it's pray your way through that before it even begins, or whether you set plans, maybe put some little spray mist somewhere, put a sprinkler. I don't know what that looks like, but to be intentional, not letting the weather and the heat and all that steal your joy before the day has even started. Like, this is going to be a nasty day. Don't pre-plan the misery of the day that's coming,
Yeah, that's a really good piece of advice there. I think a lot of times
that's for me because I do that.
Yeah. She does that with restaurants too. This is probably not going to be good.
I'm not going to like this place. This is going to be disgusting.
How do you know it might be your favorite food ever? I just know I'm not going to like it.
Right. Yeah.
That's very, very good. So the other thing too that I was just sitting there thinking is that we could get our kids involved in that choice. Because a lot of times as moms, we want to control the atmosphere. Is like, we're going to do this because I know I can manage this. But if they're able to have a choice in that, like, we're going to do this or this. Gracie's good with a choice instead of just telling her what she's going to do. And it also teaches them that in life we have choices that we can make. And then also for me, so I'm going to put on the special needs mom hat for a minute, that this will help with managing ourselves as moms. And this is something that I think even my husband and I differ on. There was a time that we won a trip to Cedar Point with Gracie through not a Make-A-Wish Foundation. It was an organization that gave trips away to special needs families. And we got to go to Cedar Point. And so we are 3.5 hours away from Cedar Point, had to drive all the way there. And the minute we got there, the noise, everything, she was having a hard time. She wanted to leave 5 minutes in. So we had to bribe her with cotton candy. We gave her cotton candy, which was not the right thing to do. But anyway, she wanted to leave. But, my husband's like, oh no, we came all the way to Cedar Point. We are going to ride all the rides. And she didn't want to ride any of them. She literally wanted to stay in Snoopy Campland the whole time. She didn't want to do any of that stuff. So you have to be willing to shift. Okay, this isn't working, but what else can we do instead of letting that just defeat you? So I know for myself, I have had to walk away from something that we planned that was fun because it's not working. And Gracie is not okay and she wants to leave. That's that whole extreme behavior thing. Instead of getting upset or getting my emotions upset, I already go into it knowing that it's possible that she's not going to want to do this, but I still expose her to it. It's the same thing with movies. She does not like movie theaters. So sometimes she wants to leave. Most of the time we do try to keep her there, but she has to have, sometimes she'll have a blanket over her head and her headphones and she'll stay through it. But you don't realize that that's an extreme situation right there. So be willing to be flexible if you do have to move on from the event that you planned with all your kids.
Usually what happens when we, want to be forceful with it and we made these plans, so we're going to keep them, that kind of attitude, it usually ends up getting worse and worse. It doesn't end up, oh, this is going to be a great day because I said we're doing this now. It usually ends badly. Usually it is not good for them. It's not good for us. It's not good for anybody because there's already a tone that's been set. Now, there are occasional exceptions to that, but in general, that's usually what happens. You did say, though, something about, you were talking about choices and how important that is. I have noticed, so kids love choices. I mean, it's like the best thing you can do is give the kid choices. And at least in our house, especially when there's this many kids, one of the things that they love the most is, and we haven't done it in a few weeks because we went somewhere. It's been a few months. I said a few weeks done. Talk about losing a long period of time, Deena. I think we did it when we went on vacation in August. I guess that's more than a few weeks ago.
Wow, it's almost a year.
Okay. So what
she really needs some mom alone time.
Right. But we were doing this and the kids love it. I think we've done it occasionally, but we keep losing it, like, because something will happen and we'll go somewhere, do something. But my kids we drew names we drew numbers so that they could choose who went first, next, each week. And every Friday they would get to pick what was for dinner. Friday night they get to pick what's for dinner. And if you're not a fan,
it would always be hamburgers and fries.
Right.
Always.
Well, thankfully, since there's so many kids, even if that one kid always picks the same thing, at least it's a few weeks before that comes back around. So we're good with that part. But what happens is they all are so excited. They get to pick dinner and they get to pick the dessert that we're having. And that night, because we're not great with always sitting down at the table, just because life is busy. By the time everybody's going to bed and you're in a million different directions, people might be eating at different times, depending on what our schedule looks like at the time. They love sitting down at the table together as a family. They love being the one that chooses the dinner. And it's just such a special thing for them. And the other thing that we do, that they earn tickets when they do their chores, and they've got this little glass case that they get to choose that I've filled full of stuff. I'll go to wherever, and if I see something on clearance, we'll all grab it and stick it in the case. So depending on how many tickets it costs.
You're like one of those little cool Pinterest moms.
No. Okay. No, I'm not. No, but I remember this from when I was like 3 or 4 years old. There was a school that I went to, and we did this. There was tickets that they gave to us. So I had to be in preschool, but that's how.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that.
Gracie's summer camp does that.
That
so
young.
They have this little treasure chest of stuff
Yes,
if they're good
and it's
or
such
do whatever.
a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the reason why it's a big deal, because we were talking about choices and how important choices are to kids, because they've got their tickets and they get to choose from all of that stuff. They get to choose what they're going to buy with their tickets and what is going to be theirs. And so it's a really big deal here for those things. And so when kids get choices, it is really good. So I may stick in my summer plans, letting each kid have a weekend or whatever that they get to choose what we're going to do. Now, there'll have to be limitations, because some kids will be like, we're going to go to Disney World. And I'm going to be like, no, we're not. There's got to be, some kind of management to that. But I think that would be a lot of fun for them for their their weekend to come along, where they get to do something, or their day, I guess that would maybe look like their Saturday or whatever. Anywhere from fishing to, some of the kids love playing hide and seek. So we've got 5.5 acres here. So we'll play glow in the dark hide and seek. When it gets dark, we'll put
fun. I want to play glow in the dark hide and seek.
Yes, we'll put the little glow in the dark necklaces and the bands on. Me and my husband will take, one of the littler ones, that can't run that fast. And everybody's like, I want to be on Dad's team. I want to be on Dad's team because Mom can't run.
My gosh, calling Mom out.
And then when I do,
if she went to the park more, she'd be able to run.
Right. And then they make fun of me when I do run. I'm like trying to run for base, and they're like, that's the first time I ever seen Mom run. And I'm like, thanks, guys.
So funny.
Thanks. But yeah, just fun stuff like that. My kids absolutely love that kind of stuff.
So you can,
honestly, we have a blast too. We love it too.
Yeah. So this is not just summer stuff. So this was a really good conversation, and this was Christina's idea. So I'm gonna give props to her for this, because obviously she's getting some, was getting anxiety about summer coming. My days pretty much look the same, but other than the whole swimming pool thing. But this really can be in any situation. So there's one thing that Gracie asks constantly is if I'll teach her how to cook. And she knows how to do some basic things, like make a sandwich, stuff that doesn't require heat or the stove, because she still doesn't really understand like danger, that kind of stuff. But she's always asking me to do those things. And I find myself saying, we will, someday we will, or we'll do it later. And I am feeling my mama heart hurts right now, because I say that to her so much, and she's always okay. She'll say, okay, we'll do it Wednesday, or we'll do it, I don't know why she always says it. We'll do it Wednesday. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it next. She's really okay with that, but that's not really good for her. So whether it's summer activities or whether it's like teaching her how to make something, just anything, honestly. Or making a craft. She likes doing crafts. And for me, it's another one of those, like the obstacle course. They're like, oh gosh, the crafts. It takes so much time to take all that stuff out and put it all out. And I don't want to do it, and I don't have time. But if I managed myself and my schedule like anything else, it's an appointment. So I know that when I look at my 7 days, and this is a recording day, and this is what I do, this is my content day, whatever, this is my writing day, this is my house cleaning day, this is my errand day, whatever, I have to have a Gracie day, I have to have a craft day, I have to have a park day. It's just an appointment like I would do anything else, instead of just pushing her off. It's so easy to push your kids off because you feel like there's no consequences, but there is.
There is. There
her
absolutely
well-being is.
And if we
the
can get what God gave us, and even ask the Holy Spirit, like, hey, we need ideas to make this all work. While you were saying that, I was just thinking, you were talking earlier about doing the episodes, because Gracie loves to be recorded.
She loves
her learning how to cook.
Yeah, we did do that. I did a lot of those videos when she was younger.
Some of those with her. That would be so much fun.
I used to have so much fun doing that. I don't know. I got exhausted from doing it. That was when you were
young and full of life, Deena. No.
I was 42 when I had it. There was no young and full of life.
You were young and full of life. Trust me. That was a year ago.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. I actually did really enjoy doing a lot of that stuff with her. And I have hundreds of videos.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to do that, put them all on that Life with Gracie channel. But yeah, it seems like as, life goes on, you lose the joy of doing that. But I think it has less to do with the busyness and more to do with the intention. Or like you said, you start getting into this mode of, I don't want to do this. This is hard.
That mindset.
My mindset might have been better at that time because it was new and exciting. I don't know, but I know that I need to have an attitude check when it comes to doing those things that I really don't want to do. Like some moms love it, and God bless you. I have a lot of respect for those moms that love, as we say, making the cute cupcakes and crafts.
Props to you.
I'm just not one of those moms.
Right.
I do my best to keep my kid alive.
Yeah.
I'm not one that does all the crafts and stuff, but I know she loves it and she needs it. That's why I sent her to grandma. Grandma always does crafts. Right. She comes home with all the crafts. So even though she's homeschooled, I get all the pictures for all the holidays because grandma does them with her. So my fridge is covered with Gracie art because of grandma. So if grandma's watching, Grandma Joe, props to you for being the art teacher and the games. She does all the fun stuff. That's why Gracie thinks grandma's like going, it's like Christmas. When I say you're going to grandma's, she like packs the night before like she's going on vacation.
Yeah. It's exciting.
It's like an event. But I want her to feel that way about me. Maybe I should stop telling her no.
Yeah, maybe you should teach her to cook, Deena.
Right.
It's like a rite of passage almost here in this house because of the age difference of the kids. The older ones are allowed to help cook.
Yeah.
The older ones. So, my 17-year-old, he was cooking, and then he's like, okay, forever, 12, 13. There was always somebody older than him. The one next in age to him is 19, and she, of course, moved out. So it's like the next kid, that cooked to him. And so it's been 3 or 4 years. He's got that role where he gets to, help cook. So he knows how to make everything. He knows how to make chili. He can make shepherd's pie. He can do everything. I've taught him how to make everything. And so it was all good and great until like this last year. He's like, I don't want to cook anymore. This is not fun anymore. He usually doesn't want to.
Why is it not fun anymore?
Because he cooks and he's like helping, cook for the younger kids. And it's just now
nobody wants to eat it or something like that.
Well, no, they'll eat his food. But now that he's working a job and just doing other stuff, he's got his driver's license. He'd rather spend his time doing other stuff.
He's just in that stage.
Now he likes to grill out. He likes to make ribs or something. But anyways, it's okay because both of his sisters that are 12 and 13 are coming up, and they're like, oh, we get to cook. Mom, can I cook? And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this yet. But my 12-year-old, both of them know how to cook.
That's kind of what I feel like with Gracie. I'm not ready for this because it's going to be messy.
Right. It's going to be hard.
It's just going to be messy.
That's what I'm like, you guys. I'm like, okay, here's the deal. If you guys want to do this, then you guys have got to clean up your mess, or we're going to have this. But honestly, my 12-year-old, she is doing really, really good. And I'm really impressed with how well she's cooking and how well she is seasoning her food. She's just doing a great job. I'm like, man, and she is so proud of herself. So, sometimes
and honestly, if we don't pass that down, how are they going to learn that?
Right.
Think about it. And I don't mean to like take away what you were saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Think about this because it just kind of hit me. When I was young, my mom started teaching me, I think I was 6. And I started cooking. And I remember the first meal that I made. I did this like international meal, and I even made all the little toothpicks that had the flags, and I had something from different countries. I was 7 or 8 years old when I did that. I can't even imagine my kids they taught their kids. There was a generation that would teach. Even the Bible talks about how we should be mentoring younger women or men mentoring younger men. We have to pass that on. If we are not doing that because we're so stressed out in the state of the world that we're in now, we don't feel like it.
We feel like
they are not going to be equipped to handle life, to handle being a mom or a wife or even having a job or whatever, because the parent, us before them, was too tired to show them.
Right.
It doesn't matter whether Gracie will ever grow up and get married or have a child. She still needs to learn how to stand on her own 2 feet. And if I'm not teaching her because I'm too tired and I'm not taking care of my own, as we said, that vehicle, making sure it's maintained, my body and all that, then I'm not going to, she's losing out because I'm not passing it on.
Yep. And I think a lot of times we just assume that they'll just somehow magically know how to do stuff. And it just reminded me of, I always had my boys, whenever we go, out somewhere, my boys would jump out, teenage boys, they jump out and put the gas in, they pump the gas. I never even really thought anything of it until actually, today, my older daughter, she's grown and moved out. She's just gotten her license. she wanted somebody to go to the gas station with her to teach her how to pump gas. She did not know how to pump gas. And I never even thought of it. I'm like, how do you not know? And it's just not something that, I mean, I just assumed, oh, she's seen the boys do it. She's seen me pump gas. And I just never even really thought
think
about
about
it.
the things you learned as a kid that we're actually not teaching. I grew up on a farm. We had a gas pump right on our property. We used to just drive our car up. We should take gas. And my dad would be like, you have to ask for that. But I learned things at a very young age that my kids didn't learn. So each generation, as we progress, like they learn less and less.
Losing stuff. Yeah,
they are. We've got to maintain that for them. Yeah. So anyway, this has been such a great episode. I'm so glad that you decided to do this. I'm very convicted. So we're coming to the end, and I just wanted to kind of wrap all this up. We said that we were going to be intentional. Okay, so this is kind of the challenge and the homework for all the viewers out there and the listeners is that
anyone that wants to join us,
we are going to get away from the thinking of, oh my gosh, the dread of summer. My kids are going to be home. It's going to be more work, or even the single mom or the mom that's working. Like, oh my gosh, how am I going to find childcare? This is more work, because it's all about our mindset. Even if we have to go through hard things like working full time and raising kids and finding childcare, we can still do it with the right attitude so that our kids aren't picking up that negative frequency of us.
Right.
As moms, we are the atmosphere shifters. We are the ones that set the tone in the house. For the most part, we are. That is just really, the woman is the one that if she's thriving, her home is thriving. And so even in this situation, it is about us, number one, maintaining our vehicle. And our vehicle is our body, our mind, and our spirit. Making sure that we are doing what we need to do so that we are thriving, so that our kids can thrive. Making sure that we schedule time for our kids, just like we schedule an appointment. Yeah. And so, I'm not one necessary to go and get my hair done or nails, but there's a lot of women that go get their nails done and their hair done or whatever, and they'll take time for that as a schedule. So just include this in, schedule in
your kids this summer.
Pencil in your kids this summer. But really, it's more about, like you said, do it with joy. Remember that God gave us these kids as a gift, and it's an honor to parent them.
Yes.
And we are partnering with God. We are not doing it alone. Even if you've got a kid that is going to be kicking and screaming every time you go to the pool or the beach or whatever.
And if you're already looking at it like it's going to be overwhelming, it's going to be overwhelming. You're going to have a bad day.
Whatever your most dominant thoughts are is going to become your reality. So we are going to make our most dominant thoughts this summer that it's going to be fun, enjoyable. We might find adventures. And so again, if we are taking care of ourselves, which is where it really all starts, why we speak so much on this channel, it's about building up the mom. If we are taking care of ourselves, we're going to be less exhausted when you have to go set your yard up like an obstacle course. You know what I'm saying? The more I'm taking care of myself and sleeping and eating well and even exercising, then I'll be able to withstand jumping through the obstacle course with Gracie. So just be intentional and enjoy the summer.
Something that would be fun, just a thought that I just had. I'll pop this out here and see what you think. Those of you that want to do this challenge with us, maybe towards the end of summer, we can try to pick a spot where we all meet up at a park or something and have a picnic, barbecue, whatever that looks like. Just a fun meetup spot.
Live in California?
Where we can. Well, I mean, if they want to fly to this
we could do a Zoom meetup.
Yeah, maybe for the people that can, but maybe some, people that are local or even in the state surrounding, we could do a fun little, let's everybody meet up and meet some other moms that have a life that looks like yours. So whoever wants to, maybe it's just me and you, Deena, maybe nobody
That's right. We're going to do it for you. We will be proxy.
But if anybody wants to join us, and wants to do this challenge, and we can just get together and talk and fellowship, and our kiddos can play. And
but here's what we can do. You guys can put in the comments. You can email us at junkdrawermamas@gmail.com with how your summer went or ideas. Yes. We would love to know ideas about how you are going to enjoy the summer. Yes. You can put it on our YouTube
Give us
channel,
some ideas, please.
Facebook. We're on every platform, from TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify, every place that is streaming. There's a way to make a comment. So tell us, what are your ideas? We are asking you to give us your advice this time.
Yes.
This is not unsolicited advice. How do you celebrate the summer with your kids? Do you feel stressed out when it comes? And are you going to try to this summer do it with intention and find joy in it? I know I'm going to try to do that. And I will make time for Gracie and stop saying no, because before you know it, your kids are grown and gone. And whether Gracie's still going to be with me or not, there's years that are going to be gone that I can't get back. And the older I get, the less ability I'm going to have to be able to do all this. So anyway, we just pray that you guys will take this to heart and you'll be intentional and that you'll ask God to show you the areas of your heart that need to be worked on so that you can actually learn to parent with joy, even in an extreme situation. So anyway, we thank you so much. This was such a fun episode. I'm so glad that we did that. And we thank you for being a part of this journey with us. And we just can't wait for us to get back together again. We don't know what we're going to be
excited about this summer now. I'm
excited that I'm going to go swimming.
No, I'm excited about
I'm a sunbather.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we're opening our pool this year too, so that's going to be exciting. That'll be something to do.
Yeah. So we can't wait to get back together again. So you guys all have an awesome week, and we will be digging into another junk drawer item next week.
Yep.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us and listening to the Junk Drawer Mamas podcast. If today's episode encouraged you, share it with a mom who could use a little extra love and support. We'd love to hear from you too. Leave us a review and let us know what you think, or send us your ideas for what you want us to tackle in the junk drawer. You can email us anytime at junkdrawermamas@gmail.com. Stay connected with us on social media. Follow Deena at Specially Empowered Moms and Christina at Faith Through Foster Care for more encouragement and updates on our upcoming books. From two mamas in the throes of extreme parenting, we want you to know that you're doing a great job, mama, and you don't have to have it all together. But what's hidden can't be healed, so let's keep sorting through it together, one step, one story, and one laugh at a time. See you next time when we tackle another item in the junk drawer of life. Have an awesome week.